Hello everyone, this is Craig from CDT Computer Services. Today we're going to explore Airtable, an app that combines the flexibility of spreadsheets with the power of relational databases. Create task lists, project workflows, customer trackers, and so much more. All designed by you for your specific needs. Let's dive in. Okay, let's jump right in by going to airtable.com in our browser. And we come to the Airtable homepage. And now we want to sign in. If you are not registered with Airtable yet, hit the sign up and just fill in your information. It's free to sign up and free to start. No credit card necessary. I have an account already, so I'm going to just sign in. And when you do this, it brings you to what is your home page. And your home page is where all of your content lives. And the top level container for all of your information are called Workspaces. And we can see I have two workspaces currently, my business workspace and personal workspace. And within all the workspaces that you have these icons, which are your bases. Each of these represents a base or a database in Airtable. If you need to add workspaces to your home page, then you just hit the Add Workspace and create a workspace. It'll allow you to create a name, call whatever you want, and you're set. Okay, we don't need that workspace, so we'll get rid of that later. All right, now we're going to open one of these bases and take a look inside and see what comprises a base. Let's see, what's a good base to open up here and take a look at. Let's go into the lightweight CRM. And you can see, like any other database or even spreadsheet, we have different sheets within this base that all pertain to the CRM construct. The first tab we have is companies, and we can see, looking across and looking down, we have records going across, and we have the different columns, which are different types of information called fields. And we have different kinds of information within these fields. We can see just by glancing across, we get a little hint as to what kind of information is in each field with the little icon just to the left of the field header. So here we have, this is text, this is a web link or a URL, text. This is a drop down or a select. So if we click in here, we get a drop down. We can pick any of the selections in here. Another select. This is a link to another table. We can see if we click in here and hit a plus, we're pulling records from one of the other tables. Okay, if we select here, the first value will drop in to here. I'm assuming this would go to contacts since we're looking at contact names and the heading is called contacts. The next one is text and text again. Okay, let's jump over to contacts, see if we have any different kinds of information, and we do. Again, we have text, link to another table. In this case, I believe this is an email. Oh, to look up. That explains it. That's a lookup to this company table. Here's the email field. And we have a phone field. So this is all these numbers are formatted as phone numbers. Airtable takes care of the formatting by itself just by selecting the phone data type. And then we have another link to another table field. And let's jump over to activities. And on the activities tab, we again have different kinds of information here. This is actually a formula. So this value is built based on other values in other fields. And we'll get into that later. We have another link to another table field here. This is actually a roll-up field. We'll get back to that also and take a look at that. This is another drop-down, another select field, so we can pick any one of these options. We have a date field that will format the numbers in here as dates, and again we have another text field. Okay. In any of your base tab windows, you'll see this line up here, and this is the toolbar. This allows you to do various things to your data within this tab. We can hide fields if there are fields we don't want to see, or if there are hidden fields that we do want to see. We just hit this. It lists all of the current fields, and you just hit this toggle to turn on or off a field. When you're hiding a field, the hidden field button will light up and show you that there are hidden fields. We also filter. We can show or suppress any of the records based upon a filter. So we can say where address is, I see Omaha any. Okay. And we're filtered to just see what is in Omaha. Okay, let's get rid of that. We want to see everything, get rid of our filter. We can group. If we want to see the data on this tab, group by a specific field, we can add a grouping. Let's go to the employees. Let's group by company size. All right. So now we can see that all of our records have been grouped together by the size of the company, the number of employees. Okay, handy to get a specific insights into your data if there are values you would like to group by, if it would help you visualize your data easier. Okay, let's get rid of the grouping. And a value or a function I'm sure everybody is familiar with, sorting. Currently, it looks like we are generally sorted by company. It looks like company was originally put in alphabetical order. However, we have a few extra company names put in at the end that are out of order. So if we want to force this column to remain sorted, we sort by company, and we click this on Keep Sorted. So if we add a value to the bottom, it will auto sort into this table where it belongs. Okay, that's why this is highlighted orange and this is orange. So you can see this is a forced sort column. Okay, let's get rid of that. Let's put it back the way we found it. And color coding, which isn't helpful in this view. In other views, it's more helpful. But if you want an extra visual indicator of a specific value for each record, we can select the field to color code this by. Let's go by the employees again. And we'll see we have color tags to the left of the first column, which align with the colors of the employee dropdown. Yellow, yellow, orange, maroon. All right, let's take the coloring out. There we go. If we have fields that have a lot of data or a lot of text in them and we can't quite see, like over here, pipeline sales, how some of this is getting cut off, we could pull this out to see it. Or if we want to keep this all within one screen, we can also increase our row height. Okay, we're now at a medium row height, so these values should wrap and we can see more. Let's put that back. All right, so that's our toolbar. There are a few other items here. Sharing we'll get into later, and these three dots allow us to do other things to the view. We can print, we can delete, we can rename it. We'll get into views again later. Views are over here at this drop down. These are all different ways to view your data. That's why they're called views. So these are the tabs we have currently in this base. If we need to add more tabs or more tables to gather more information, we just hit this plus and we can either import an existing spreadsheet we have, a CSV file, or we can create a whole new empty table. We can call it whatever we want and add whatever data we want. We will be getting into that next, building a base from scratch, adding all of our own tables and fields in and defining them and naming them, etc. For right now, we don't need this table, so we just hit the little drop down at the right of the tab, delete, delete, and it's gone. And we're back to where we started. Let's get into views for right now. And a view is really just a way of looking at your data. It doesn't affect the data, it doesn't change the data, delete anything, remove anything. It's just how you're viewing it, how you're looking at it. You can suppress fields, you can filter, you can alter, you can adjust. There are different layouts and formats, so let's dive into that. These are all the views that have been defined currently. Right now we're looking at an alphabetical list. If we go to by employees, we can see that this view has been grouped by the employee field, like we did previously. And that's it. It doesn't seem to be sorted or filtered any other way. There are no hidden fields. So this view is just grouped by employees. If we go back to all companies alphabetical, it gives us the entire list, ungrouped, unfiltered, unsorted, the default list. We can add a view if we'd like. Let's add a new grid view. Okay, and we can call it whatever we want, new view. All right, and in this view, whatever settings we apply to this view are for this view only. This is our unique way of looking at the data in this view. So we're going to say, let's see, let's make a filter of industry. There we go. Filter, industry, and since it's a select field, it gives us the selections. Let's see, we just want to see computer software companies. Okay, that doesn't give us much. Let's try again. Computer software, building materials, it gives us a couple. Okay, we can do that. So this is our building materials. Let's sort by the company name. It's already in alphabetical order currently, but in case we add more records, they'll auto sort alphabetically. We could group if we want to. Not many fields left to group by. Oh, group by employees. Okay, this is our view. This is our unique view that we have built, and this is for this view only. We can choose to, let's go one further. Let's hide a couple fields that we don't really want to see in this view. Okay. So these are the settings for this view called new view. If we jump back to any of our previous views, the full data set is still there. These views are still intact. Even the group by employees view is still intact. Okay, and we go back to our new view and all of our settings for there are there. Building materials, sorted, grouped, hidden fields. So you can build as many views as you want, and this is just grid view. There are different layouts, different formats of views, which we can take a look at. Let's see, let's go back to alphabetical. Okay, we don't have any dates that we're dealing with, so we really can't build a calendar view. We could make a gallery view. Gallery simply assign each record in the table as a card. We can do the same things. We can filter, we can sort, we can color. If we want to color by, let's say, by the employees field. Okay, so that'll tell us, I believe the lighter colors were smaller, darker colors were larger. So we can do that. We can even add that in. We can see what fields are not included currently. Let's add the employees, and we see it pop up on the bottom now, and this color corresponds to the color tag that we gave it. All right, many ways to customize the cards in the gallery view. We can do a Kanban view, which is similar to gallery except it's a group. Let's go industry. Okay, so you need a field to group Kanban by, and then all the cards will fall in under each of the groupings. Normally you would want to group by a field that may change or may progress over time. If this was a pipeline where we had projects that were pending, in process, completed, done, we would group by that, and then as the project or as the record progresses through the pipeline, we could just drag and drop the card into, from pending to in progress, and then once it's done, drag it from in progress to completed, and the record will update to the group name. We'll see here this is now computer games because we put it in the computer games group. If we put it back to where it was, automotive, it's now automotive. So Kanban is really super helpful for certain kinds of groupings and certain kinds of records and data. Not so much in this case. Our groupings are pretty much going to stay put. We have the industry, and I think the other selection that we had were the employees. So we can stack instead of by industry, let's stack by employees. The only time these will really change is if the company grows or shrinks for whatever reason. They may fall into a different range. Beacon Hill Bakery may suddenly hire 10 new people and suddenly they belong over here. Easy enough to drag and drop to do. Again, this is another kind of view, and since we created this, it will be in our list now. Kanban, here's the gallery view that we just created. Here are the other grid views. There's our new wacky grid view we created and the other two views that were already existing. So views can be super handy. Again, we don't have a date field here. If we did, we'd have a calendar view, which would be awesome to look at. And when we build the database that we're going to build in a few minutes, we will have date fields to deal with, and we can build a calendar view there. So that is basically the workings of a base. The tables, the fields, the records, views, setting the settings for the table, filtering, grouping, sorting, hiding fields, coloring records. That is the basic functionality of a base. So let's jump out here for a moment, and then we're going to take a look at building our own from scratch to see how easy it is to put together the tables, the fields, the data types, and all the links to make a base go. We start by adding a base down here at Add a Base, and we have three options for creating a base from scratch. The first one is start with a template, and we actually saw a template. That last base that we looked at, the lightweight CRM, is a template. It gives you a good idea of what's in a base, how to work a base, what kind of fields look like what, how views work. So that's what a template is. And there are let's jump in. There are a large number of templates to get you started. It's just the list goes on and on and on of all different template types you can pick from. And these are just the featured ones. They're broken down into categories off to the left here that you can import. You just click on one, read the description, get an idea of what the base looks like, then hit use template, and that will copy into your home page. And you can open that up, modify it, use it, do whatever you want to it. Let's jump back. The other option is to import from a spreadsheet. Again, if you have a spreadsheet or a number of spreadsheets you've been using, you'll want to convert those to a CSV format in order to import here. When you import this way, it will create a base from scratch using that spreadsheet as one table within. If you have other spreadsheets you want to import into that base, you'll need to import those in one at a time from within the base. The last option is start from scratch, which is what we're going to do. Let's hit that. It prompts us for a name. We're going to make a really super basic appointment book. And I can't even tell you how basic this is going to be. Let's see, make it purple and appointment book. There's something with a calendar down here. Okay, let's not eat up a ton of time. There was a clock, good enough. And that is our new appointment book base. Let's dive in. When you start a base from scratch, you get one table with 3 fields. That's it. That's your starting point. So let's name our first table. These are going to be our contacts. Okay. And let's start building out the fields we're going to need. Let's think of the fields we're going to need. We're going to need the contact name. Name's already here, so let's go ahead and use that. Let's get a phone number for each of our people. We don't really need notes or attachments in this, so we're going to delete these right off the bat. Okay, your first field is your key field, and that is important for linking. You cannot delete that. You have to keep that in here. You can change the type. It doesn't have to remain a text field. We're going to keep it as is for now, but let's add a few more fields. Okay, we want each of our contacts' phone numbers. So let's find the phone number field type. Okay, here we go. We're going to create a field for availability. We want to know what days our contacts are available. And this is going to be multiple select. Since our contacts may be available different days during the week, we want to capture that here. And we're just going to really throw in the days of the week here. Okay. We don't want to alphabetize this list, so we'll keep it as is, and we'll keep colored options on. Okay, so that is our availability field. And the final piece of information we will capture for our contacts is their email address. We already got the phone number, email address. That gives us plenty of ways to get in touch with them if we need to. Email is going to be an email field type. So we'll save that. Okay, we have our fields set up. The next tab, before we populate any data, the next tab we want is an appointments table. We're going to hit the plus. We want to create an empty table, and this is going to contain all the data relevant to the appointments we set up. Okay, again, we're going to change this and make it appointment name instead of just name. Okay, again, we don't need notes, we don't need attachments. Now we can modify this field and repurpose it for what we want, and let's do that now. We have appointment name. Let's capture the date. We're just going to go into this first option, rename it, and let's repurpose it. This is a date field now. We don't need the time. We could use the time. Let's put the time in. Okay, good. So we've converted a field to a different field name and field type instead of deleting and creating from scratch. Let's move on. Names. Okay, we want to pull out the names of the contacts that are going to this appointment. And for this, we need a link to our contacts table. We only want to use contacts that are in the other table. We don't want to just freehand whatever names in. We want to keep some sort of control over the names that are pulled in, and this will make it easier by giving us a selection. And let's allow multiple records in case multiple people come. Okay, so we have a linked field to names, and we'll see how that works once we get contacts populated. The next field we're going to create is the type field. Okay, this is going to be the type of appointment that we are going to set up. And we're going to make this a single select. We want to define what the values are here. And this is simply going to be personal and work. And let's define the colors here. Personal, let's make it a nice pleasing yellow. Work is a little more of a harsh blue, and we'll save that. Okay, so those are our options. When we click in here and hit the drop down, we can either select personal or work. The last field that we're going to include in this table is location. Where is it that we want to go? And we're going to leave this single line text. We can type in whatever we want. We're going to use some really basic values for our build, but that's it. And we have the field set up for our appointment book. So let's go ahead and populate these with some really, really basic values. Bob, Sally, Fran, Toby, Jesse, and Pat. All right, and let's throw some phone numbers in. 3, 1, 2, 2, 3. There's. Okay, and you can see since it's a phone field, we defined it as a phone. it's going to format it as a phone number, as long as we put in enough numbers. Let's see, 666-555-6666 and 888-555-2222. Availability. Now let's select a few days of the week we can make this. We'll say they're available Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Next we'll say Tuesday. Yeah, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Let's see, Fran's available a lot. Sunday, Monday. As you select it, takes them out of the list so you can't try to select them again. Thursday, she's available all week. Fran does not have a life. All right. Toby's a little more restrictive. We'll say Wednesdays and Saturdays only for him. Jesse, let's see, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and finally Pat. Pat also has a pretty busy schedule, Fridays and Saturdays only for Pat. All right, there we go. Now we can either stretch this out to see all the days, or again, we can increase the row height and see if we can squeeze all those in. Yep, that'll do it. So now we can see all of Fran. Email, bob@any.com, and we're going to keep it that simple. Fran@any.com. I apologize if there is an any.com out there. I'm just throwing this in as a generic value. I do not mean to intrude on your domain. I guess I should put a disclaimer in at the end, huh? All right. Now, our appointments, we will get back to. We did not create this appointment field. It's there because we linked the appointments table to the contacts table. So this appointment field corresponds to the linked field here for names. As we select names, the appointment name will retrospectively appear in the appointments field, and we'll see that in action. All right, so appointment name, let's see. We'll make it a Monday. Who's available? We have Bob, Sally, and Fran. We're not going to call Jesse. We'll just keep it to Bob, Sally, and Fran. So let's go to appointments. Okay. Bob, Sally, Fran at Diner. All right, so we need to make that a Monday. Double click in a date field. It gives you a date picker. We'll pick next Monday. Perfect. We can change the time if we want. We're gonna make it, let's make it nighttime. 7:30. All right. Now here's where we are linked to the contacts table. So we can select whatever names are in that table. You're seeing the records, all the records from the contacts table as a selection within the appointments table. And we said Bob, we said Sally, and we said Fran. All right, so they're the names we're selecting for this appointment. Again, we can stretch out to fill all the names. Now, retrospectively, there's my favorite word of the day. Since we've selected these names for this appointment, in this linked appointment field, we are seeing the appointment names associated with the contact names. And this is really super handy down the line, and I'll show you that in a little bit. Okay, what type? We're going to say this is a personal. And location we've already defined is at the diner. Okay, there we go. Let's set up another appointment, and this is going to be, we'll make this like a business lunch. Okay, biz lunch with, who do we have on our list? Let's select a name first so we can fill that out. All right, we want to meet with Pat. Friday. All right, so we need a Friday. Let's move ahead to May. We'll make it the 8th. And that's going to be lunch. So let's shoot for the middle of the day. Say 12:30. As soon as I get back to 12:30 p.m. Okay, we've already defined Pat, and this is going to be a work lunch. Okay, we go out to eat a lot apparently. Another diner. Got to get away from the diners. Okay, let's set up another personal. Let's kind of work backwards here. Let's say we're going to make this on a Saturday. It's a weekend. So who's available on Saturday? Pat is, and Toby is. Okay. So we're going to make that a Saturday. Make it later in May, 23rd. Let's set this during the day. Let's see, 3, get back here, 3 p.m., middle of the afternoon. All right. And let's see, Pat and Toby gather at the mall. All right, personal. If you start to type in a select field, you'll get the selection pop up that matches, if there is one that matches. I just type PER. I could have just typed P. Personal comes up. The only other option is work. So we match to personal, and we've already defined this is going to be at the mall. And let's do one more. And let's make that a work also. Let's get our team together. And again, let's kind of work backwards here. What do we want to make this? Let's make it a, not many people open on Tuesdays. How about Thursday? We already did Monday, Wednesday. Toby and Jesse are around on Wednesdays. Anyone else? No. Okay, that's it. Toby and Jesse. We're going to make this work. It is on a Wednesday during the workday. So we need a Wednesday. Let's go into June 10th. It's work related, so let's put it during the workday, 2:30. And where are we going? Let's go to a conference. Sounds very work related. Conference with Toby and Jesse. Sorry, Jesse. All right, there we go. Okay, we have our appointments in. So in this table in appointments, we use the contacts table as a lookup for names. We set up our names ahead of time with their availability, their phone number, their email, and that gave us a field to simply look up names instead of typing names in. If we had, Fran on our list and we had to type these in by hand instead of selecting them, someone may accidentally type Frank in, and there is no Frank. We don't know a Frank, and that leads to a lot of confusion. This gives you some control over the lookup fields that you have by creating a table of lookup values. And in this case, for an appointment, we have contacts. We could make a lookup table for locations, common locations that we go to, that we hang out at. We can make a locations table, and then this would be a lookup to the locations table. We could do that, but sure, why not? Let's do that. Locations. Going off script. Feeling crazy. All right, let's delete this field, and we're going to keep it really super simple. Location name, plain text. We're going to put in the address. Again, single line text. And that's it. If we wanted to, we could put in the phone number and make it a phone number field. Again, save. All right. And if we look back at our appointments, we have diner, another diner, mall, and conference. Diner. Wow, what happened there? Diner, mall, conference. Wow. What is going on there? Nope. Diner. What did I forget? Mall. Okay. Address 111. Any street. 212. That lane. 3344 Forever Street, and 999 who cares Avenue. Phone numbers again: 555 111 2222 666 555 9999 999 999 9999 and 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. Didn't work. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 0. Okay, done. I apologize if anybody actually has these numbers and people start calling you. I'll put a disclaimer in for that too. Okay, so when you have our location names, okay, so this gives us a defined location list to look up in appointments. And let's slide appointments all the way to the end. Probably should put it at the beginning, but we won't. We're now going to change location to a single lookup field. We can only go to one location at a time, so we're going to make this a single select. Okay, we're going to link this to, yep, okay, it's listing out our options. No, not single, it's single select. We want to link it. Locations. We want one location at a time. Now, since the values we've typed in match what are in the locations table, everything should line up and it should pull these in. Yes, we want to convert the field. And there we go. This is now a linked value. If we go in here to change this value, nope, we can only one at a time. We have to cross that out before we can add a new one. If you want to change this to the conference, we can do that here. Let's put it back to the diner. Okay. So there we go. We have built a base from scratch. We have defined the several different tables with several different types of information in them. Each tab is unique to that type of data. We have contacts. All of our contact information, any information that deals with the individual people we are dealing with, goes on this tab. Any information that deals with the locations we are going to go on this tab. And you can see, since we created a link between appointments and locations, a reciprocal field was created in locations for the appointments that are assigned there. And appointments, we have, this is the main table. This is the whole purpose of the address book, is to create appointments, pull in the people that we are going with, and pull in the locations we are going to, and define the type of appointments that we have. Now we can introduce a new kind of field here. Let's kind of make it one-stop shopping on this tab. We have these people's names, and we want to know how to get a hold of them in a pinch. Without having to hop back to the contacts tab if we need to. So since we've linked to the names field, we've created a link to that table, we now have access to all the fields in that table through this link. Okay, so we're going to call this contact phone. Okay, now since we've already created a link, all we need now is a lookup to one of the fields in that table. Okay, now we're going to define the link table that we're going to use, and that is names. We want to pull the phone number off the names, off the contacts tab, through the names link. Okay, we want the phone number, and that's it. Okay, so right now it is going in and it is hunting down the phone numbers for all the names listed in the names field. So Bob's number, Sally's, Fran's, that's Pat's number, Pat again, we can see, Toby, and then Toby again, and Jesse. And let's move that over next to the names. So if we set up this appointment, we're getting ready to go, we want to call everybody to make sure everybody's still on board with this appointment. The phone numbers are right there on the appointments tab, along with the appointment itself. And we didn't have to jump around to find them. And if we go back and modify, I mean, that's a live link. That lookup is a live link back to the contacts table. So if we take Bob's phone number and change it, Okay, that will update through the link. Here we go. 000112222. So this is a live update. You adjust it once in the underlying table, and it will pull through the link into where you've connected to. And that is the part of relational databases, is storing data once in one location and just looking it up wherever else you need it without having to retype it. Retyping these phone numbers over and over again by hand, manually, would just be ridiculous. And the number of mistakes that can be made doing that is just crazy. That's all I can say, is crazy. Someone's going to misspell a name, someone's going to mistype a phone number or an email address, and then you can't get a hold of them, and the whole thing goes to pot. So this is how you want to set up a relational database, is building your tables with its unique information. Each tab with the unique information. And then where you want to pull it together, you just look up back to those tables instead of retyping by hand. It's certainly a lot easier to click in here and select from a list than to say, oh, how did I spell that name? How was Toby's name spelled? Did it have an E? Did it not have an E? You just hit the plus, look it up, and it puts it in automatically. And then through that link, you can connect to all of the other fields in that table. We can do it again with the location, address. If we want to see that address here, we can look up based on the location link. Location, pick the field. Let's pull in the phone number. Okay, in case you need to get a hold of the venue we are going to in a pinch, we'll have the phone number come in also. All right, so now we have the locations phone number as well as the contact phone number. One-stop shopping tab. We have everybody's phone number, we have the people going, the time, the date, where we're going, what kind of meeting it is, and if we need to get a hold of anybody, the venue or the contacts, it's all right here. And let's change this, because I could have actually just selected rename, which is the second one down. It gives you the same window. Look phone. Okay, there we go. And that is our appointment book. Great stuff. Now, this is nice, this is handy. If we want to see this in a different way, then we can create a new view. Like I was discussing before with views, we can create a new grid view. And let's see, group grid. If we want to group by the type of appointments they are, we can do that. All right, we have our personal appointments, we have our work appointments. We can go ahead and sort by the date. So, okay, the more recent ones, and keep sorted. Okay, so the appointments coming up are going to be the next in line. So we can see what our next appointment is. Great stuff here. I think that's all we really need to do here. No fields we want to hide. Not here. And these settings are saved in this view definition, grouped grid. If we go back to the original grid view, there is the original grid view. Everything is still there. All right. Now, we do have a date, right? Yep, we have a date. So in this case, we can use a calendar view. Let's create a calendar view. And we'll select the date field, date. All right, it already picked up that there's a date field and what the name of the date field is. We don't have an end date. We only have one date field in this table, so we'll just select that. Okay, if we scroll through, we can see our records pop up on the calendar on the date they belong. If we click on here, we get some information. If we expand, we get a window with all of the information in that whole record. Okay, I believe if we double click, nope, we have to expand the record to do that. Let's see, we can go month, 2 week, week, 3 day, day. You can drill down the time ranges. We start moving through. There's April. What's coming up in May? We see we have still one in April. We have 2 appointments in May, and we should have that one in June. And there's the conference with Toby and Jesse in June. Again, click, get some summary information, expand, get all the information. Okay, and that's our calendar view. We'll keep that a calendar view. I don't think there's really anything else I mean, we can do a Kanban. Let's see what that's going to look like. See, type is about the only thing to select. And really, you're really not going to have an appointment shift from like a personal to work. Maybe. You know, Bob, Sally, and Fran decided, hey, let's talk shop while we're at dinner. We can just drag this personal appointment over and drop it on work, and now it becomes a work appointment. Don't know if that would happen too often, but that's what you can do in a Kanban view. Let's put it back. And this really isn't all that functional of a view, so let's get rid of it. And the 3 dots down here give us our view options, and we're going to delete this view. This leaves us with the original 3 views we had: the grid view, the group grid, and the calendar view. And that is all we are doing in our appointment book. Let's jump back to our home page to discuss the next topic, and that is collaboration. One of the Airtable's strengths is collaborating, and that is working with teams, working with other people, whether they're right next to you or across the country or around the world, on projects or within your bases. And you do that through what's called collaboration. And if you really want to get into collaboration, do yourself a favor, have your team members sign up for Airtable and create an account ahead of time. It makes collaborating a lot easier. Once your team members are set up in Airtable, you can go ahead and assign them as a team member within a base or within a workspace. And we'll take a look at that now. I have a base here. It's a copy of the lightweight CRM that we saw earlier, except you can see there's a little icon here, a little person icon up here. And that means I have shared this with somebody else. Somebody else is able to come into this base remotely and do work in this base. And we can see here, I have 2 accounts. One is a business account, one is a personal account, and that is to show this off. My business address here, my business account here, is the owner. I created this base. I'm the original owner of it, and I invited my personal self in to work on this base with me as an editor. There are different permissions you can assign to people. Creator has full edit features. Editor can edit records but not play with the structure of tables. A commenter can comment, and that's it. And read only is for like a client. If you want to give a client, you know, an idea of where you are or what you're working with, you can invite them in with read only permissions. They can only look at the data, look at what you're doing. They can't affect anything. Okay, so I have invited my other Craig into this base to help me with it. And if we were going to invite somebody else, let's go back in there. If we were going to invite somebody else, we can do it by email, by typing their email in, assigning the permission level we want to give them, and then what happened? And then send the invite to them. They'll get an email with a link. They hit the link. They're connected to the base as a collaborator. If we're going to invite a lot of people, then we would do it by link. Okay. Again, each link will assign a specific permission level. So if we're going to send out like an editor link, we can clamp it down by email domain. If you're sending it to a specific company and you want the recipients to be from within a specific email domain, like a company name, you would fill that in here. This would create a link that you would then copy and paste into an email, or you can post it on a website if you want. And whoever clicks on that link then becomes a collaborator in this base with the permissions that you gave. Okay, so right now we have me, we have my other me as an editor, and we're going to start working in this base. Okay. we're going to add collaboration into the activities themselves. We're going to set that up in this activities. We want to be able to assign each activity to someone who is going to work on it. So let's set up an owner field. Okay, and we're going to assign that to, now we've already assigned someone who is working with us at the base level on this base. Okay, so we're going to set up a collaborator field. Okay, we're not going to include multiple collaborators. We're going to notify collaborators when they're added to a task. All right, so now that we have a collaborator field, we can access whoever we have invited in to work with us by name. So if we click in here, hit the drop down, there is business me, there is personal me. Okay, so business me is going to be the owner of this task. Personal me is going to take this one. Personal me is going to take this one. And since business me is feeling really lazy, I'm going to assign this to personal me also. Okay, if you have a dozen people invited in to this base to work on it, all those names will be listed. You can assign whoever you want. If you left that option on to allow multiple collaborators, you can include a number of names in there, not just one. If you're going to add teams to a single activity, we're going to leave it off. So we have the people that we're working with assigned to a task. And right now, through my personal email address, I am getting 3 emails saying, you've been assigned to this activity, you've been assigned to this activity, you've been assigned to this activity. My business me is receiving an email right now saying, you've been assigned to this activity. And it lets me know that I've been assigned to that activity. Okay, so we have an owner. And this gives us an interesting capability now. We can now create a view. Yeah, let's create a new grid view where we are grouping by the owner. All right, and this gives us a list of who is taking care of what. Okay, I can see that I have 1 project. My personal me has 3 projects. We pick up a count since we've grouped. And we can see kind of at a glance who is taking care of what. We can expand this concept to the Kanban view and group it by owner. Now we can see as lists and cards who is taking care of what tasks. This is handy in case you want to shuffle some work around. We can see that personal me is overwhelmed. You have 3 projects going on. Business me is being kind of lazy. I've got 1 thing going on. So I'm like, you know what? I will take this off your plate and put it on my plate. Easy as that. I just reassign that project to somebody else. And in the underlying card, we can see that the owner has been updated to business me. Okay, how awesome is that? Nothing to it. So that is teamwork, collaboration, assigning people to activities and tasks. How you can share this at a base level is right up here. Hit share, and we're back to that window. Okay, hitting the share button up here from within the base shares the base. Okay, and anyone you assign to work in the base has access to that base. Let's jump back. Okay, you can also share at the workspace level. And this is a little riskier unless you're absolutely sure of the people you're working with. If you hit share up here at the workspace level, okay, same kind of window, okay, by email or link, but anyone that you invite in this way has access to all of your bases. Okay, they can edit or comment on or read only all the bases within the workspace that you've shared. So unless it's someone that you're working with, a right-hand person, a team who is working with all of these bases, you normally wouldn't do that. You would keep it to the base level. If it is a department who is going to be working, or team members who are going to be working with all of the bases within that workspace, then you share the whole workspace at this point. Okay. And there's a reason why I have two different workspaces. You'll notice that my business workspace is on the pro plan and my personal workspace is on the free plan. And that is because, I'll just touch on this briefly, I'm not going to get too in depth with the pricing structure. Prices change over time, videos don't. So if you want to see the pricing structure, jump to airtable.com, take a look at the pricing there, and you'll have all the updated information. But in short, the free version, you have a lot fewer resources. You don't have all the features. However, you can collaborate with as many people as you want for no charge. And that is why I put this copy of the Lightweight CRM down here and set the Collaborator up here. In the Pro plan, you have all the features, which I'm going to touch on one of the features now that is included in Pro. It's not in free. I moved to Pro so I'd have that feature. However, once you move to a paid plan, you are now paying per collaborator per month. So if I had added my personal me in as a collaborator up here on this base, under this workspace, I would be paying double per month because I'm paying for that extra collaborator, even though it's still me. So keep that in mind when you're setting up collaboration. If you have some really basic bases that you don't need a lot of features on and you're going to collaborate a lot, keep them in a free workspace so you're not paying extra for them. You know, if you're at the point where you can handle, you know, a fee for having multiple collaborators on many different bases, then absolutely go for it, get the new features, you know, and deal with the bill. So we are going to dive into our last base, which is another template, and that is the bug tracker. Okay, this again is a template. Dummy data has been pre-populated by Airtable. Thank you, Airtable. And in this base, we're going to see one of the great features of Airtable that is included in the Pro plan or better, and that is called blocks. And blocks live over here. Okay, blocks are separate apps that you install in blocks that sit on top of the base and provide visuals, insights. This up here is just simply kind of like a notepad, and it gives you all sorts of top-level functionality that just adds a whole new layer to bases within Airbase. And let's go up here and expand the blocks to full window. This is one dashboard. And a dashboard contains a bunch of blocks. You can create multiple dashboards. So if you add a new dashboard, call it new dashboard. Okay, it's blank. You would then go and install blocks. Let's move back. Okay, these were pre-created in the bug tracker base. They have to reload now since I jumped off and then back to them. All right, and we can see we have a description block where you can pretty much type what you want, rich text. We have a chart block that is connected to some of the underlying data. Let's shrink this back down. And we have a pivot table block, and we have a matrix block. And these three blocks are different ways of showing off data that may live in one of your tables. Okay, so to install a block, really easy. Install a block. How convenient. And this opens up the block gallery. And there are just so many blocks here. These are its featured. Okay, this small list are the featured blocks. They can connect to other apps. You can connect to Miro. You can connect to Pexels, Loom. You can create a pivot table, a chart, a Gantt chart. Page Designer is kind of a report layout. If you're familiar at all with Access, the Access database, and you can create reports. Same way here, Page Designer to get a visual of what like a printed copy would look like. You can import here. However, if we click all blocks, you've got the full list. It just goes on and on. Okay, so many different things you can do. Connect to your Google Hangouts. So you can embed code blocks. There's the matrix, web clipper, page designer, build org charts, update records within Airtable. They can actually function on records in an Airtable base. So much extra functionality you can include in your bases by installing blocks. And again, this comes with a pro plan or better. So that is one reason to bump up to the pro plan. If this is something that would add like a tremendous amount of value, definitely go with the blocks. And that's all I'm going to touch on about blocks. Blocks deserve their own video, which will be coming up later. So I'm just showing you they're there, how to install one, what they do, what they can do. Again, in here, this is just like a notepad. Let me get back up here and expand it. Okay, full screen, here's the notepad. And you know, this is rich text. You can see, you can put in underlines, you can put in, I don't think these are actual links. Yep, they're links, actual URLs. Bold, font sizes, great stuff. That's a description block. And again, let's see where this is based off of. Settings for this chart block comes from the bug and issues table, and we're looking at bugs by priority. So the priority levels, and this looks like a count. Yep. So this is the number of bugs at each level through the pipeline. So in descending order. So we have two critical activities going on. We have 8 high priority items for normal and 6 low priority items. And if you click on any of these bars, you can see the records that bar is representing. And then from here, click on the record and you see the full number of details, or all the details for that record. Great stuff. Blocks are just really awesome to work with. So you know, if you can swing it, definitely. You know, they do have I think it's a week-long, possibly 2-week-long demo version of the Pro plan where you can fiddle with blocks, see if they're going to fit your needs or not. You may find you don't need them in the end, but I can't see how you wouldn't. So we're going to hide blocks again and jump back to our home page. And I think I pretty much covered everything I wanted to in this video about Airtable. Again, it is a super awesome platform for building databases for whatever you need to do. To keep track of inventory, CRMs, you can see it right here, marketing plans, technology roadmaps, bug trackers, project trackers, appointment books, you name it. If you can build it in a spreadsheet or another database application, you can certainly build it in Airtable with the extra functionality, with the insights that blocks give you. It's a great app. Absolutely love it. I use it myself, as you can see. And that's about it for this video. I will have more videos coming up dealing with specific topics within Airtable that I just kind of blew over today. Didn't really go into a lot of detail on any specific thing. And that's about it. Thank you for watching. If you found this helpful, if this was very insightful, if you've come to an understanding of what Airtable is, what it's all about, if it's going to work for you or not, then certainly hit a like, share, subscribe. If there's anything you want to see about Airtable, leave it in the comments below. I'll see about building a video for that. Any feedback, positive or negative, about this video, feel free to leave that in the comments also, and I will see you next time. Bye.